So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Yeah. So yesterday, what we have discussed. So we have discussed the agile methodology. Okay. So so after selecting for the company, like what is the process that the company will follow, right? That is known as agile methodology. So, and also we have discussed what are the differences between the waterfall model and the agile model, right? So what else we discussed? And also we discussed about the sprint, right? Can anyone tell what is sprint? Any idea, any guess what is sprint? Yesterday we have discussed the sprint planning. Yes or no? Sprint is nothing but, so what we will follow in the agile methodology. So when we get a big requirement, we will so divide that big requirement into the small chunks, right? That small chunks we will so keep into the sprint. Sprint is nothing but it is a release, right? So for every 2 weeks, we'll be having a release. So what are the items that we are planning? So those items so will be keeping that sprint, right? So all these things yesterday we have discussed. So now, so I mean, my company name is T Hub, right? So you are the employees in my company. So now, so who is our client? So who is our client?
Swhizz Technologies.
Yes, Swhizz Technologies is the client. Okay. So now, so who is an end user here? The employee. So who will use the application, right? So our application. Now, till now, what we have done? So we have bought the professional edition. Okay, we have bought the professional edition for the Swhizz Technologies to use. So till now, what we have used, so only the end user used our application. Okay, till now our end user used our application. So by using the all the standard objects like lead, account, contact, opportunity, right? So now from today onwards, what the developers will do. Okay. So what the developers will do here. Okay. So we got the professional edition sandbox to us. Okay. Now, so today we are going to discuss about the application, right? That is the only first and foremost thing. So we need to develop, right? So in Salesforce, so we need to develop the first and foremost thing is the application, right? So on that application only, the Swiss employee will so work like so they will store the data, right? So till now, what they have used, they are using the standard applications, right? They are using the standard application. So what is this application? So you are saying standard application, and also you are saying we have to use the create the application, right? So so yesterday we have seen this, right? So I just logged into my own org. Okay. So I'm clicking on the home page. Okay. So after you log in into your developer edition, this is the home page, you will get it, right? So everybody has your own developer editions, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now what is this? So this UI. So what is this UI?
It's classic.
Yeah, this is a classic. But what is this? Is this a framework or is this a force.com platform?
It's
Framework.
framework.
Post
Yes,
framework.
exactly. Very good. So this is a framework. So what is framework? So where the end users will use it, right? This is a framework. So till now, what this Swiss employee did, I mean, what is this end user did? He tried to play with these objects. Okay, he will just click on this object. Okay, what is this object? What is this object? He tried to create the record here, right? So in the last sessions, we have seen to create a lead and how we can create an contact, right? So now, So what a developer will do here, like, so they already have these objects, right? Swhizz Technology, I mean, they bought this from Salesforce Professional Edition. They already have this object. So why they need us? So that's a question, right? So now, so here the Swhizz employee just played with this, okay, lead object. So he just created the two records. Now, so before that, see, so where am I? I am in the marketing CRM classic. What is this? This is the application. Okay, this is the application. So that's what, so I'm saying, okay. So by default, okay, if you see this, these are all the standard object, I mean standard applications, which is given by the Salesforce. So when you bought the instance, right? So when you bought the professional edition instance, so by default, they will give all the objects, right? And also they will give all the apps also. So if you see this is a sales app. So this will be used for the sales application, like Sales Cloud, you can say. Okay. When you want a service, right? So you can use this service application. Okay. So I will just select the sales application. Sir, in the sales application also, you will can see all the objects. So when I go for service also, you can see all the objects. And when you see the marketing classic also, you can see all the objects. So what is this? Right? So, so before, so, so going to this UI, so we'll know what is the application. Okay. So for now, what this Swiss guy will do, they will use the sales application. They will select the sales application and they will create the lead here. Okay. Right. So this is what the application. So what exactly the application is here, if you can see it. Let me open this. Okay. So, such the framework of discussed. So every day you have to open all these so slides whichever we discussed. Okay. So that everything will be in mind. Contact line files, sales cloud. This is the model that we discussed, right? So now, so what is an application? Okay. So what Salesforce will do? So why we need to use the Salesforce? So what is the main purpose of Salesforce? Can anybody? So you have to think from the business point of view. Okay, whenever I'm asking question, you need to think from the business point of view. Business, who is business here? Who is client here? Swhizz Technologies. So you have to think from their point of view. Okay. So what is the use of Salesforce? So why he bought the Salesforce instance?
Maintain records and contacts only.
Exactly. So in order to maintain the records, so in order to maintain the data, right? That is the only use, right? Swhizz Technologies. Why they bought this?
Yeah.
So instead of storing the information in the form, they need to store the information in the cloud. Simple. So not only for Switch Technologies, for any business, any line of business. So for example, if you take Geo or IRCTC, whatever it is, they want to store the information. Who booked the tickets? For example, if you go for Redbus. So backend, they will store the data, right? So they will store the data. So data is the main thing for the business. In order to maintain the data, they need to use some platform, right? So data. Salesforce will be used for the data, right? Salesforce will be used to store the data. So what we'll call this data in Salesforce? So we are creating the data, right? What we'll call this data in Salesforce? So how the data will be stored in Salesforce? It is a record, right? So data will be stored as a record, right? So in the last class, we created a lead record, right? That is a lead data. So that is a lead record. We will call it as a record, right? So where this record will be stored?
Cloud.
Okay, cloud. But before that, so what I'm creating? I'm creating a record of which object, right? So the record will be stored in the object.
Okay.
So we went to lead tab. So tab is nothing but an object. Okay. So we are creating a record in the lead object. Okay. We are creating the data of the lead object. Okay. Data is nothing but a record. Okay. So record represents single record. So data so represents multiple records. Simple. Okay. So record is nothing but data. Data is nothing but a record. So for which object we are storing the record? So here, so we have stored for the lead object or contact object. Okay. So record will be stored in the object. So, so where I need to access this object? For example, lead. So where I access this lead object? From the up. Okay, from the tab, right? So lead is nothing but a tab. So from the tab, whenever you click on the tab, you will get a new button. So when you click on that new button, so it will ask us to create a record, right? Yep. So from where you access this tab? From the application. Okay. Whenever you select the application, sales or service. See, by default, it will enable you the sales application, right? So that means you are already in the sales application. Okay, that's why. So you can able to see all the tabs there. So you need to configure. Okay, you need to configure the tabs which are visible for me. Okay, I need to configure that one. So on a high level, what we can say, an application. What is an application? An application is a group of tabs which give access for the object, okay, to create the records. Okay, what is an application? An application is a group of tabs which will give access for the object to create the records. Okay, clear? So by default, Salesforce will be having the application. That's where we are getting confused. Okay, by default, it is launching you for the one of the application based on your profile. Okay, we'll discuss what is profile, everything. Okay. So now you guys understand, right? What is application? Okay. So we got the instance for the Swhizz Technologies. So first and foremost thing is, so we need to ask the, okay, business. Who is business? Swhizz Technologies. So there will be a business analyst, right? Okay. So business analyst is, for example, we'll consider as a Subbu. Okay. Subbu is a business analyst. So he will explain us what is the things we need to develop. Now, Subbu Garu will tell us we need to create an application, sir, separate application. We don't want to use the standard applications, for example. So that's where we need to create an application. Okay. And after creating the application, so they need to create the data, right? So he will tell, right, what are the objects you need, sir. So we need to ask them, we need to train the business. See, business analyst means they also have some basic idea, right, about the business. So what is lead, what is contact? So basic information will be there. They might not know about the Salesforce, but they have some basic information. Okay, what is an account, what is leads, kind of thing. So we'll be having discussion with the business analyst first. So this is our business model. So we need to store the trainees information. So which object you will choose. So like that, he will have a discussion with the business analyst in the T-Hub company. So I'm the business analyst, okay, from the T-Hub. So I will suggest him, sir, you can create a separate app service so that, so everything will be customized. I mean, customized in the sense configured. Okay. So you can use the sales also. So, but here, this is not a sales, right? So this is just a trainees, I mean, institute. Okay. So it is a consultancy. So no need to use the sales. So because we are not selling any products here. So that's where we can create our own custom application. Okay. So where I can add all the standard objects if you want, or else we can create a custom object also. So we will, I will explain you what is an object. Okay. Everything. So object is nothing but a tab. Okay. So application means it's a group of tabs which will give access for the object to store the records. Simple. Right. Now, let me show you something. For example, for any project, okay, forget about the Swhizz Technologies for now. Okay. So for any project, so what? So we'll have a user interface, right? That is a basic. Not only the Salesforce, I'm saying, okay, for any Java project or any .NET project, any project, they should have a user interface, right? So what this user information, what this user interface will be having? For example, this is an IRCTC, okay, it's a company. So for this, so what we'll be having? So first we'll be having a sign up page, right? Example, this is a sign up page. When you click on this sign up, what will get? So it will ask you the username.
Credentials.
Yes. So it will ask you to keep some credentials. Okay. Like this username, password. So here I'm signing up. Okay. And what else? So it will ask for the so email or phone number, right? Phone. What else? So you can have one more field called email. So like this, right? So now, so you will have a sign up button, right? This is the UI what IRCTC will be maintaining. So this UI will be developed by one of the company only. So by using some technology, whether it is Java or Microsoft or Salesforce, whatever it is. Okay. But now this application is maintaining by the TCS. Okay. So we all know that, right? So backend, so I don't know what is the platform they're using it. But when they click on this sign up, right? So what will happen?
Create an account.
Sorry.
Account create అవుతుంది తను.
Yes. So there will be an account getting created. So for any application, right? For any application, as we discussed, there will be a UI and we have to be maintain a server, right? So we will call it as a database, DB or server or client computer. So that's what we discussed, right? So you can use any of these words, but nobody will use the word client computer. So when you go to the company, they will discuss out so whether database or server. So these are the terms they will use it. So now what is this database? See, for any application, you should have an interface and you should have a database or server, right? Why this server or database? Whatever the information you are storing it. So it has to be saved, right, in the server. So that's where the Salesforce comes into picture, right? So they will be also having a server, but these or should not be maintained by the company. For example, I'm saying the IRCTC server. So here they have to maintain this server on their own. Okay. So what is this server? So how this data will be stored into the database? So I think here, if you have some technical knowledge, so I think you can understand better. But I will explain in detail here. So database is nothing but so what will be having in the database? Can anybody guess? What the server will be having? So if you guys know about the Oracle or whatever it is, right? So what they are doing, they will maintain the data. So how they will store the data? They will store the data in the form of tables, right? in the form of tables. So for example, I am naming it as a user table. So this is a IICT server. In that server, I will be having a user table. Okay. So now what this table will contain? This table will contains columns, right? This table will contain the columns. So this is how any DB looks like in the back end. Okay, nobody knows so how the data will be stored. But this is the this is how the data will be stored in the database. Okay. Now, so what you call this? These are the columns. Okay. Now, so what you will call this?
Rows.
Yes. So like this. So you will be having the database. A table looks like. So what is this represents? It is a row. Okay. So this is a column and this is a row. Now, so here, so I'm storing, I'm giving some information. So what this user table will be having, it is a like this, a username. Okay, like this. So this DB people will maintain the tables. Password. This is the phone. Okay, this is how the DB looks like. Okay, DB is nothing but it is a server. Okay, for every table they will be having the columns and rows. Okay. So this is how the DB guys will maintain the database. So this is how it will store the data. Now, so I'm giving some information here. Okay. Password some 1234. And phone number I can give some 1, 8, 10, phrases, 0. Okay. So email something, @gmail.com. Okay. Right. So now, so when I click on this sign up button, so what exactly will happen in the backend? So what these guys will do, so these guys will link. So these guys will create a record. Okay. These guys will create a record in this table like this. So you already stored, right? This is Chinko. So data will be stored in the backend like this. Okay. This is how an application will work. So not only the Salesforce, any application. Okay. Any application. So they should have a UI and they should have a database, and database people will maintain the records like this. Okay. This is how the software works. Like this. Okay. So now, so some guy came, Chandu, and he entered some password and he signed up it. So the record will be saved here. So after that, some more guy will come and he will also get signed up. So the record will be stored as the second record. Okay, like this, the records will be stored in the backend table. Now, when we use to log in, right? So we will having one more page. This is also user interface, right? So you will be having one more page. This page is known as login page. Okay, for example, this is known as login page. I can say this is sign up page. The above one is a sign up page and this is the login page. So what will happen? I just want to understand. So I just want to explain each and everything. Yes. So if anybody knows these things, just get it. So before going to this Salesforce thing, so you need to understand this so that it will be very easy for us to understand what is an object and what is a record. Okay. So now, we have a login button. This is a login page, right? When you click on the login, you will get this page. So now I will enter my details. And 1, 2, 3, 4. When I click on this login, so what will happen? It will hit this table and it will check whether we have an access data from in this table or not. If we have a data in this table, then so we can able to log into the application. Okay, this is how a user interface and the database will be interacted. Okay, for every detail you will have a separate tables also. So that will be decided by the Oracle people, and this business client people will decide so how to store the data. So but see, for this page they are maintaining one table. Okay, so for example, if you have some other page, so they will have one more table here to store the information. Okay, if you can see the student table, or I mean, if you remember the employee table, student table, medical tables kind of thing, right? The same way for each and every storage of data, they should maintain a table. Clear? So this is how the application works. Okay, not only Salesforce, I'm saying. Okay, any application will works. Okay. Now, so coming to the Salesforce. Okay. So coming to the Salesforce. So what we have done? So we have bought an instance, right? Salesforce instance. So what is this instance? It is a professional edition. This is a professional edition. For example, we bought here. So Salesforce guy has given us this instance. So when you log into the application, so what we are looking here on the home page, we can see some tabs, right? We can see some tabs like this. So as we are discussing about leads, right? So we'll keep it as a leads. We'll keep it as an accounts, because these are the objects what we have decided. I mean, what we are discussing, right? So let me keep it as an accounts. What else we discussed? So we can have a contents here. Okay. So what else we have? We have an opportunities. For example, I'm considering the main objects. So given by the Salesforce, right? This is how our page looks like. Now, so what we are doing? So now I am telling about the end user. So how the end user will see this thing like this. So what he will do? He will click on new button, right? He will click on new button. So what will happen when you click on new button? You will be having a page. Okay. So in that, what you will have? So it is asking you guys to enter some data like name, right? And what else we have? Name. For now, I can give the email. Okay. Like this. Right. What else we can have? We have many fields, okay, on the lead. But for now, for understanding purpose, I just using 3 fields like this. And what you have here, you have a save button, right? So when you click on leads tab, when you click on new button, this is the page what you will get it. Now what we are doing here, I'm just storing the data. Test lead. Email is test@gmail.com. Right? Phone number, I can give some 9491666. Okay. So when you click on the save, right, what is happening? When you click on the save, for example, let me show you. So this is the some test. lead, company, something, system settings. Okay. When you click on save, what is happening? So what is this page? We'll call it as. Can anybody tell what is this page?
Detailed page.
Yes, good one. So this is called a detail page. Okay. This is called a detail page. So now Salesforce is showing you the detail page. But exactly where this data stored? So what I told, for any application, there should be a database, right? So Salesforce has to store this information somewhere, right? Right? So they will also have a database in the backend. Okay. This is a Salesforce server. But we don't have access for this because this is not our server, right? We just bought the Salesforce instance for the rental purpose, right? So we bought the instance for 1 year. So Salesforce guys only will be maintaining all the server things and all. So that's why we bought this instance, because it will be very easy for us to use it, right? So let me name it as a user interface. And this is known as database or server, right? So how Salesforce will store this information? These are all the tabs, right? Now they will also have a table. Okay. They will also have a table. So leads table. Now, so database is common. Okay. So for any application, so DB is common. So they will be having rows and columns like this. Okay. For now, I'm just showing you only 4 columns. For whatever fields you have in the lead object, everything will be having a column like this. Clear? Yes. So, and also, so the DB will be having the rows like this. Okay. So we'll call it as a row. So now this name is there, right? So Salesforce guys will be having the column names as name. Okay. And also ID. Okay. We'll discuss this later. Okay. ID. What is this ID? So don't get confused about this ID. We'll discuss about it later. So they will have the name like this and email. And the phone. Okay. Like this, they will have a table. Now, when you enter this lead, right, what will happen? It will be auto-generate. Okay, will auto-generate. So that's where the Salesforce designed on their own. Okay, forget about this IT. Okay, right. Now, this test lead comes here. Okay, this test lead comes here. And what is the email I have stored? It is a test@gmail. You can able to see, right? This is okay. The phone number is like this, for example. Now, okay. So we have created some other record. That record will be stored in this as a new row. Okay. This is a lead object. So similarly, for accounts also, Salesforce will be having the separate table. Okay. Called accounts. So whatever the fields we have on the account, they will be placed as a columns. Okay. Like this. What are the fields that we have on the account? So those will be stored as a columns like this. Okay. So for contacts also, so they will have a separate table, okay, in this server. And for opportunities also, they have a separate table. Okay. So this is how Salesforce will maintain the data in their servers. Okay, we don't want that information, but for us to understand, we need to know how the Salesforce is doing all these things. Okay, this is how the Salesforce will store the information. When you click on save, this data will be stored as a record. Okay, like this. So when you click on this record, right? For example, I am on lead. I just store this information. So they are showing me this information on my UI. When I click on this record, so what exactly will happen? Salesforce will return this data to the user interface. Okay. Salesforce will return this information to the user interface. So that is on this leads tab. So this is how it will work.
Sir, is it like a request and response?
Yeah, it is like a request and response only. Okay.
Okay.
But Salesforce will be maintaining in the backend. See how fast it is. It is not a real-time integrations because this is a UI which is interacting with the Salesforce server only, right?
Okay.
It is interacting with the Salesforce server only, but everything will be maintained by the Salesforce itself. So that's why. So here, when you click on leads, immediately it is giving you the data. So in the
Yeah.
real time, when you interact with the external system, right? So you have
Mm.
to wait for some time.
Yeah.
The server to respond,
Mm.
right? It won't be this much fast. Maybe this sometimes it will be fast, okay? But
Oh,
it is not like this because this is entirely packed as a package in the Salesforce itself. But okay, that's where it is interacting, right? Okay, the
yeah.
same way. So save will hit the Salesforce server and it will store in the object. And when you click on that record, it will give you the data if it exists. Okay. Now, if you update something, so when you click on edit, right? Here, when you click on edit, so that means, so you're updating something. So then, so Salesforce, what it will do? Okay. Okay. Salesforce, what it will do? It will update the record. For example, I'm updating this. I'm updating this test lead as updating this test lead as test lead 2. So what Salesforce will do? Salesforce will update the same record in the backend. Test lead 2. Yeah, like this it will update. So to update purpose, right? So how Salesforce will know? I'm updating here. I'm just open this record. Okay. So I'm just updating with as a test lead 2. When I click on save, right? So my record got updated. The same record. Okay. But so when I click on save, right? So will it be, I mean, there is a chance to create a new record also, right? There's a chance to create a new record. So how the Salesforce is maintaining to, so know the database to update this record. For that, they are maintaining this ID. Okay. ID is the unique ID will be generated whenever you create a record, right? When you click on save. Okay. So this will be stored as an ID. So if you see this for this lead record, so this is the ID. So this is the domain of our developer org. This represents the ID of the record. Okay. So this is a unique. Okay. This is the unique auto generate. So the unique. So like this, Salesforce will maintain the standard field ID in order to identify the record. Now, I just opened this record, right? I am already in this record. I just opened this record. See, so this ID, it will take, whenever you click on save, the ID it will take from the UI and it will, so, so try to find out this So ID. If it is there, then only the record will be updated. If it is not there, then we will have a new record will be created. For example, let me show you the new one so you can understand better. Okay. When you click on new, right? See there, is there any ID here? No. So when I save something, then only the ID will be generated. See, clear? So this is an new ID. So here I want to say one more thing. Okay. These first three digits represents the object. So for each and every individual object will be having this separate. Okay, first three letters are the different, will be different. Okay. So for example, I will open the records. If you see for leads, they are maintaining the 00Q. Okay, so what do you call it as a prefix. Okay. So for any record you create in leads, it will be having 00Q. That is what Salesforce is maintaining. So for accounts, what is having 001? Okay, if I open the record, every record will start with 001. So first three digits will represent the type of the object. That's where the Salesforce is maintaining it. Okay, for contacts, it will be 003. Okay, not only for our entire organization, entire Salesforce. Okay, these are the common. Okay, for Swhizz Technologies, we have taken the developer, professional edition. Okay, for example, for IRCTC, they have taken some unlimited edition, for example. For them also, when they use the account, it, a prefix will be 001 only. Okay, so in order to maintain the differences between the objects, Salesforce will be maintaining this prefix in order to store the records, in order to identify the records. They got it? So what is the use of this ID? ID represents the record. Okay, ID represents the record. So for example, I'm creating one more lead here with the same name. Okay, I'm creating one more record with the same name. Lead to Swhizz Technologies. And click on save. Okay, now what will happen in the backend? If you see, these two are same records, right? So how you will identify my record? The same data. Okay, the same data will be having here also, right? Two. Okay, now, so how should I identify? Because this is not a unique.
ID.
by ID.
Yes, exactly. By ID. That's where Salesforce introduced the ID. You see this? This is a separate ID. Got generated. Okay. Everything will be deals with this record ID only. Okay. Whenever you write any code or whenever you identify the record, this will be identified by this ID only. Okay. Got it? How the records will be stored into the Salesforce, everything. Right? So this is a main thing you need to understand. Okay. So because as we are the developers, right? As we are the developers, we need to understand everything, how the backend Salesforce guys are doing it. Okay. So clear or any doubts here?
Yeah.
Any doubts, please reach. Okay. No issues. So if you have doubts, then only you will understand in so better way. Okay. So this is how the data will be stored.
Sir, if an user change his name
Okay.
to test one to test lead to test three something else,
Okay.
will it just modify or will it create a new block for the user name?
I mean, you are saying this name, right?
Yeah. If user change his test lead two to test lead three, if it will create a new block for the name or will it edit in that same block?
So from where you got this new page? So open the existing lead or you created a new lead? My question
No,
for you.
existing one.
Yeah, you said you are used the existing. If you are
Yeah.
using the existing, right, you already have a record ID.
Yeah.
So it will update. Simple.
Okay.
Edit is to update. Okay. New is to create new record. Simple.
Okay.
Got it?
Oh, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else having any doubts? Right. So this is how Salesforce will operate the interaction between the data and the objects. Okay. So can anybody say what you will call these leads in Oracle terminology? DB terminology, I'm saying. So what is this lead call as? So what we will call this leads name?
Metadata.
No. I mean, so what is this diagram? So what is this? What is this? Box. So this is a table, right? Okay. So in database point of view, this is a table. Okay. This is a table. I'm saying so database point of view. So what is this?
Object.
Yeah. What is this? ID, name, email, phone. So what do you call this in DB technology? Columns, right? So if you go to the Oracle guy and if you ask, so they will tell this as a table and they will tell this as a column. So what? So this will represent rows, right? They will call it as a row. Okay, this is the DB technology. In the same way, so what we will call it as in Salesforce, this is an,
Leads.
sorry, this is a leads. What is this leads? Will it call it as object? Okay, object is nothing but table. The only difference is the terminology. Okay, object is nothing but a table. What is this row represents in Salesforce? What is this row represents? What is this row represents?
IDs,
Sorry?
record,
transaction
Yeah,
ID.
exactly. Record. This is nothing but a record, right? We are storing the records. See, in DB, table. In Salesforce, object. Simple, right? In DB, rows. In Salesforce, records. Okay? These are the record. Okay? I want you people to understand. That's why I'm saying. Okay? So what is an object? Means object is nothing but a table. Clear? Okay. Now, what is this ID, name, email, phone? These are the columns in DB. In Salesforce, what we will call it as?
Fields.
Exactly. This is called as a fields. Okay. So these are the terms we will be using going forward. The Salesforce. Okay. If you are familiar with these terms, it will be very easy whenever I say record, whenever I say fields, whenever I say object. Okay. It will be very, very easy to understand. Got it? So these are the fields. These are the rows. So so here my question. So who will create the records? Who will
User.
create the records?
User.
end user, end
End
user.
user, correct. User. User is nothing but a end user, right? So end user will create the records. Then who will create the columns? Like who will create the fields? So here by default, Salesforce has given us
Default.
name, email, phone, right? So who will create the fields here?
Salesforce.
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 Yeah, by default, Salesforce has given it, but I want to create a custom field here. I want to create a custom field. For example, phone. So Salesforce, okay, not given this. For example, I have a custom field, for example. So what we'll name it as a custom, for example, custom. This field is not created by the Salesforce. So I want to create this field. Okay, for example, I'm saying. So what you will have here, this phone. Okay, this is the custom field. So who will create the custom field?
Develop.
Will end user creates this custom field? No.
No. Developer will create.
Exactly. So this is our work to create this custom field. Okay. In order to give access for the end user to enter something. Okay, who will decide so whether to create a custom field or not? I will decide as an architect or a business analyst. I will discuss with the business analyst from the Swhizz Technologies, and we will be having a discussion. And I will ask you guys to create a custom field because they want this custom field like this. So then you can ask me, sir, why can't you use the standard fields? So every time you can't use the standard fields. What Salesforce did, Salesforce has given us few fields. So if you want, you can use it. Okay, because so those are the common fields which will be used for the every business. And also if you want some extra fields, you can create your own fields. That's where the developers will come into picture, right? So here in the last class, if you remember, when we discussed with the Salesforce framework and the force.com platform, I told Salesforce framework deals with the data. If you guys remember, so force.com platform deals with the metadata, right? So now this record represents the data. Okay, these are the terms again we'll be using in the Salesforce. So record is nothing but data. These fields, whatever we are creating developers, those are nothing but metadata. Metadata of lead object. This is data of lead object. In the similar way, we have some more columns here. For example, for account also I have an ID. Okay, for account I have an ID. So I need to create a custom field here. So we'll see in detail, okay, what about custom fields. But for now, just I'm saying what is the custom field, okay. So now these are the metadata of accounts, okay. When I enter any record in account, okay, this is the data of the account object, okay. These are the fields of the account object. These are the fields of the leads object, okay. So now this is the entire interaction between the front end and the back end, how the Salesforce will work. Okay, if you know these things, it will be very, very easy for us to understand and so work on the Salesforce. Okay, now what I have done, I just used the database tables in order to store my records. Okay, clear? Any doubts here? Oh. So now, sir, you told about the application, right? Now, so what we have done as a developer, we understood how the backend works and how the backend will interact with the front end. Front end means UI framework. Backend means metadata table server, right? Now here I'm going to, create an application. Okay. Now, as a business analyst, I have talked to these guys, and so what I suggested is, sir, we'll start developing an application for you. Okay. So what I will do? So I am a developer. Now I need to use the setup, right? I need to use the setup. See this left side bar. This is belongs to us in the sense developers. Okay. Whatever we are doing in this setup will be reflected in the front end. Okay. Let me go to the classic. Okay. Whatever we are doing in the back end in this setup will be reflected in the front end. Okay. Now what I need to do? I need to create an app. So you can go to the app. Yes. So simply you can search here whatever you want. Okay, you will get many options. So these things and all you will understand while you are creating something. Okay. So by default, you don't remember where exactly it will be. Okay. By creating more apps. Okay. And this is again, you have to work. Okay. So I know, so where these apps will be. So I have developed many apps. So that's where I know it will be under create apps. Okay. You can go to the app. Here, whatever the apps you have, right? So by default, Salesforce has given us all these applications by default. So all these applications you can see here: sales, service, okay, platform, right? So marketing CRM, everything we have here. So this is the backend, okay? This is the metadata. So you have created this marketing CRM application, for example. For example, I have created this garage, for example. That's where it is reflecting in the front end. Okay. So whatever a developer will do in the backend, that will be useful for the end user to use it in the front end. Okay. Now, what we have decided, we will start creating a application. So we have a two types of applications. So here I want you to check each and every letter in the page when you are developing. Okay. Don't see only this. Okay, I'm able to see customer console. You have to read each and every letter on this page so that you will understand and you will get the doubts. Okay. So what is this saying? New custom app. Okay. So now Salesforce is allowing us to create an app. Okay. So what is this here? Help this page. So what is there in this? Just click on it. Yeah, nothing will happen because you are learning. Okay. So just see. Okay. So it is open a document which will help me to do something and do something to read on this app. Okay. Step 1. Okay. Select a type. What is this type? So that's okay. So you have to select. So what is the custom app? What is the difference between the custom app and custom console? Okay. You have to understand each and everything. So custom app means this is so we are creating it for the desktop version for now. Okay. Salesforce you can use for the mobile versions also, right? Okay. So for now, so we are creating this app for the browsers. So now I'm creating this custom app. I'm selecting it. Okay. Now the next step and cancel step. What will cancel will happen when you click on cancel? Again, you will go back to the page. Okay. Did this? So app got created? Nothing. So now I'm clicking on next. So here, if you see, there are 5 steps under. Okay. So can anybody name it for application? So what we will keep it for say for Swhizz Technologies? Can you use the same like this? It's fine, right? Swhizz. Okay. So what is this label and what is this app name? Okay. So label. So whatever you entered here, okay, that will reflect on the front end like this. Okay. So what is this app name? See, for anything, okay, for anything in Salesforce guys, are maintaining the API name. So which represents the, for example, so we have seen it, right? This is the ID. This is a unique key in order to identify the record. At the same time, so you will be having the unique IDs for these fields also in order to identify it. Okay, that is nothing but these API names. Okay, you will understand. Okay, so this is Swhizz, right? And I will click on next. So you can choose any logo if you want to place. See, for example, I am in sales. This is a logo what I'm getting on the left top, right? So before Tech Mahindra, say I have it. So if you want, you can paste an image. This is all just for UI purpose only. Okay. Now, these are the tabs. So as we discussed, what is application? What is an application? Application is a group of tabs which will give access for the object to create a records, right? So here, so I want to add the tabs what I want. See, for now, I'm not adding anything. I want to show you how it looks like. Okay. See, for now, you people can give access for all. Okay, we will discuss this later. Okay, these are the profiles. Okay, we in further sessions we will understand what is the profile like. Okay, for now, you can give access for the all and click on save. You have to see the buttons also. What are the buttons Salesforce is providing? Now, if you see, we got an app created here, right? You see, this is a custom. So they are showing it as a custom app. We created it. If you see the sales, there is nothing custom. This is a standard. And service is also standard given by Salesforce. Platform is also standard. Okay. What is marketing CRM classic is also standard. So you can identify based on this custom. Okay. So now I created a custom app. Salesforce is representing me. Okay, this is a custom. Okay. Now, so I have given the access, right? For all the profiles, for all the users, I have given the access. Now will it reflect here? See. Yeah, this is the backend, for example. So we have created. So this is a front end, right? End users will do. So I'm refreshing the page. Okay. See, now we can able to see the Swhizz. So whatever we are doing in the metadata backend, so end users will can see this, the front end. Okay. So when you give the access for this, Chandu Shekhar, I have given access. So that's why he can able to see the Swhizz Technologies. So when I click on, see, when I am right now, I am in sales application. Sales application, you can see these many tabs. What a service will be having these many tabs. What our Swhizz is having? Nothing. Understand? So why I'm not able to say anything? Because I didn't configure it. Okay. Now I will show you. So now I will show this. Okay. Now what business analyst from Swhizz Technologies comes, sir, I need some tabs to be displayed here, sir. Because every time, see, you can see all the objects, whatever we have in the Salesforce here. You click on plus, you can so get all the objects. Again, from here, you can go. Yeah. But whenever I log into this, my application, okay, Swhizz Technologies, and I get to home, I'm not getting the tab. So business will ask us, I want my end users to use this application, right? So I want to create from here itself. When the user log into this application, I need some tabs to be displayed. That is the requirement. What we will do as a developers, we will open that apps because that is an app. Okay. So this practice, we have to do it. Don't use the shortcuts here. Okay. Use the proper. So you have to come to apps. it will help you in future. Okay. So don't use the shortcuts. So whenever you find quick start or quick something, don't use that. So if you say have this quick start, don't use this quick starts. Okay. So now I need to come to Swhizz. This is my, so if you want, I want to logo to be changed, I can change here, right? So where is my app here? This is my app. So if I want to change, I can change here. Now I want to add. So what is the first object we are discussing first? So first is the trainees, right? Whoever comes to, whoever showing the interest or who came to Swhizz to understand what they are offering, everything. So they want to enter the leads. And also they want to see who are the trainees available in the in the Swhizz. So I will add accounts also. And also the contacts of him. Okay. This is the basic things I added it. I'm clicking on save. Right. Now, so we will tell to them, sir, we have implemented it. See how it reflected. Right. Now what the end user will do? They will try to create the lead record. Okay. They will try to create the lead. So all these are the objects in the Salesforce only, right? So whatever app you create, you can access all the objects. Why? Because so you have these objects by default like this. Instance is only for the UI purpose only. If you want to hide, you can hide. Okay. If you want to present those objects, you can drag them into the UI part. Okay. So whenever Salesforce gives this instance, right, everything will be there in the backend like this. Okay. If you want to show, just show. If you want to, if you don't want the users to see something, okay, you can remove from that. Right. This is how you need to create an application. This is first thing, right? So this is the front end, this is the back end. Right. Now I need to switch to Lightning. Sir, you told nobody is using Classic. Okay. See some users. So this is just so this is for our Swhizz Technologies. They can use it, right? So they don't want to switch to Lightning because this is just to store the data. But so whenever you comes to the real business people, like so IaaS, it is a kind of thing. So they will be having multiple things on the UI. Okay, they will be having, for example, if I want to switch it, this is simple for data information only. So that's why. So they can use the Classic also, Swhizz peoples. Okay, but they want to use the Lightning. So what I will do, I will just go to this. So where you can find the apps here? Can anybody guess? In Classic, you can see on the right side. So in Lightning, where you can see the apps?
On
The
9
app
dot.
launcher.
Exactly, on the app launcher. Very good. On the left side, see this is what. Okay, that is the difference what we discussed, right? So do we have our Swhizz app here? No, right? So why we didn't get this Swhizz app here? Any guess? So go to the setup because setup is for us, right? This is the setup for us. Okay. Where is it? App. Okay. If you go to the app, you will get many things. App menu. Okay. And app manager. So you need to understand it. Okay. Where I need to go. Just click on it. Okay. Just click on it and see. So what are these things? So loading for you. Okay. Here we have the Swhizz. And what you call it as a Classic. Okay. You are saying this you can use only for the Classic. That's why it's not coming up. Okay, let me edit it. Okay, see here. That's where I mean, I ask you guys to see each and everything, whatever Salesforce is giving, you have to read it. Okay, here what is having show in lightning experience. So I just enabled it. Okay, click on save. Okay, now check what is there in the Swhizz. It's a classic and also visible in lightning is also checked. Now I will try to refresh my page to reflect my changes. So let me see whether I can able to see now or this is how you need to work it. Okay. See, now I got it. Okay. If everything comes right, so it won't be useful for us. Okay. If something not comes, then only we need to dig into that, why it is not coming. Okay. Now here we got this Swhizz Technologies. I will select it. See, the same tabs we got it, right? The same tabs we got it. See, that means whatever you configured in this sandbox, right? For that application, that will be reflected same in Classic and Lightning. Okay. So what we have decided, I mean, what we have configured now, we have configured app and tabs. That's where it is reflecting. But the other pages also you need to configure. Okay. This page also you need to configure it. If you want the home page looks like something else. So you need to configure your home page. Okay. But in Classic, how it comes? It is something different, right? So the same thing, you see Classic. So as we discussed, Classic and Lightning is just to present our UI, okay, to the end users. That's it. They want Classic, so they will use Classic. They want Lightning, so we need to configure the Lightning. So I'm clicking on leads. So this is how the view comes. The same thing if the user using Classic, see, this is a UI it will comes. But both are same. The purpose of the tab is same in order to store the record into the database. Right? Understand? Any doubts here? What is an application? So what we decided first is coming to the first statement, right? An application is a group of tabs which give access for the object to store the records. To store the records. Clear? What's an application? Any doubts here? Yes, no. Okay. So today task is for you guys just to try to create the same thing. Okay, you're understanding, right? Why we are creating an application. Okay. So now what I will do in future, I won't give access for these all applications. Okay, for the Shindu Shaker. Now, like, so he can able to see only Swhizz Technologies only, even Swhizz only here. Okay. So that you can configure. So now the business comes and asks, sir, so user is able to see all the apps are here. I don't want it because he will be confused. Okay. Simply, I want only this app to be shown. Okay. So I want only this app to be shown. Then we need to configure. Again, we need to come back to the setup. Okay. So we need to configure in this place. So we'll see how to configure everything, okay, in further classes. So got it? Now what a developer will do? Got it? So how you will get a requirements? Okay. So why we need to use an application? What is an application? How so that the data will be stored in the database, right? So what is so how the Salesforce is interacting, the UI and the database server. So what is a table? What is an object? Both are same. What are the columns? Columns are nothing but a fields. What are the rows? Rows are nothing but a records. So how the Salesforce is storing the information? So we have seen it, right? All clear. So now you try to create an application on your own. Okay. So name it whatever you want. Okay, just to play it. Okay, play in the sense just go and change the name of this app. Okay, just go to the app and just change the name. So just come to UI and just refresh the page. Whether the page got refreshed or not, just check it. Okay, that's how you need to play with this UI. So here, for now, we are the developers. Okay, so we have to use the backend only. But for testing purpose, we are the end users also. Right here. So before giving this to Swhizz Technologies, right? So what I did, I created app and I added a few tabs here. So before asking the business people to test it, I need to test it, right? So that's why I need to go to Swhizz in the front end and then I need to search it. So whether my changes got reflected here or not, right? So here as a developer, we are playing a two roles here. So to test the things, we are the end users also. Okay, we need to test like end users. Clear?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. So try to create an application. Task, try to create an application and try to add some tabs here on your own, whatever you want. Okay. And try to create the records. Okay. We'll see. Okay. So how, so you people will understand whether you have any doubts or not. Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss everything. Okay. If you have any doubts, tomorrow we'll connect. Okay. Okay, guys, then. So yeah, we can wrap up the call for today. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Have a
Thank
great